aircraft is that down here? There's another aircraft by the museum entrance as well. Looks like a Wright Brothers flyer or something like that. Maybe a replica. Not really sure what that is. That's very interesting. Oh, it's like, oh, I see. It looks like a statue. Sort of a statue. Very nice. So definitely a lot of attention to detail with the scenery. Hotels, motels in the area. A little Burger King we saw a little bit earlier. Someone did point out, though, that they felt that the center line along these hangars was too close to the hangars. And actually, someone did send me a picture. Someone sent me an email, a user who bought the scenery. And they were concerned about these center lines. They said that when they taxied, and they showed a picture of taxiing the C-172 into these aisles, and the wing of the C-172 was inside the hangar. So I guess I'd have to take a look at a satellite image to see how accurate that is. But definitely it's not directly, the center line is not directly in between the hangars. So he was a little bit concerned that the center lines were a bit off, and that his wing was going through the terminal. So I'm not sure how if the lines are where they should be, or if maybe they need to be adjusted. So that's a good question. This looks like a little spotters area here. A couple of guys here with cameras. In fact, I went spotting today myself. I decided to, every now and then I like to, even though I work at the airport, and you figure out who wants to see this on the weekends, but spotting is a hobby of mine. Photography is a hobby of mine. So today I decided I'm going to go do some spotting. Wanted to catch the United 787s coming and going. There's one that comes in and then one that leaves about an hour later, so I wanted to stick around and see the 787s land and take off. Very nice. And then sit back and dream, wondering, will Quality Rings really have it in our hands within the next 2 months? I guess we'll find out. Taking a look at more of the hangars here. Custom power line structures. No actual power lines going between them, but the structures are there. LH Simulations is really good with that. They have the power lines in their scenery. And they actually put the actual lines in also. Most people probably wouldn't care. Here we are of another corporate office building here, just to the east of the airfield. Lots of custom vehicles, custom Orbx trees. And really looking forward to those HD, what is that? Not HD. Is it HD trees that Orbx is working on? I think that's going to be very interesting to have. And of course, a lot of people are concerned about performance, so fear not. Whenever free time permits, I will be doing the live streams. So I will pick a few different regions. We'll try a couple of regions in the States. We'll try Europe, Asia, and Africa, and take a look at those HD trees that they're working on. Should be very interesting. Now, how old is the Zenitech project? Because is that recent? Oh, is it? You know, what I had for the longest time was the Samosin Natural Trees. I don't know if you heard of that, but there was a company called Samosin Natural Trees. I think it was released on SimMarket. You can't find it anymore, unfortunately. But they added the most realistic looking trees that I have ever seen in FS, and at some point, I guess a developer just had it removed. I don't know what happened there, but you can't get it anymore. I still have it on my hard drive. Samosin is what it was called. Zenitech. So when did Zenitech release their HD trees, Ross? Do you know? So that might be an interesting comparison as well. So far, the screenshots that I've seen from Orbx look very nice. Of course, the difference between Orbx and Zenitech, though, is that Orbx trees will populate the FTX regions, whereas I think the Zenitech only do that for default, if I'm not mistaken. So those might very well get overwritten in the FTX regions. So that's an interesting thought, I think. I see. Okay, so that's been around for a few years then. Okay, so it's been around for at least that long. That's good. So just hanging around, look at there's a little golf cart there, and I think this is the FBO that we're coming up on now. Some people are probably waiting for me to pick apart Ed's parking lot here. I'm not going to really pick apart anything like that on this particular scenery because the area is just so difficult performance-wise that I'm sure Ed made every effort to not include anything that wasn't absolutely pivotal to the scenery just to make sure it could run as good as possible. Given the fact that we already know that this is just kind of a tough area in general when it comes to performance, even with default. So. A couple of guys, I noticed someone wrote in the chat there, they said that once I dumbed down the water settings, it seemed like the approach was much more fluid and not as stuttery, so that definitely made a difference. This looks like a bus depot. Are these Greyhound buses? What buses are these? Samtrans, never heard of it, but this must be their headquarters. And so San Carlos, not a very big airport, so not a whole lot to show, but I once again wanted to make sure I took the opportunity to display it all for you guys. For those of you who haven't had the opportunity to purchase it yet, those of you concerned about performance, we've been flying around the airfield. We took off from Lake Tahoe and switched aircraft without actually having to restart the simulator. So memory seems to be doing okay. And you know, the approach was a lot of fun. It was a weird approach because I just was, you know, I was eyeballing it. I came in at an altitude that was a little bit too high, so I kind of had to circle on down and look for the runway. So it was kind of a weird approach, but very exciting in a jet because that's a short runway. So short runways are always fun. I think I held my breath too. But this is pretty much it. This is San Carlos, so another terrific FTX NCA airport for your hard drive, for your landing gear. And let's go ahead now. I'm going to take a look. If you guys have any questions about the scenery, anything that I didn't show, or anything you might want to know, now would be the time to ask. I'm going to take a minute and head over to the Orbx site, or rather the Flight Sim store, because we need to take a look at what the price is here really quickly. American $24.99. Okay. There we go. So looks like a reasonably, would you say, Ross, is reasonably priced? See, 32. Absolutely. They can't hear you. So Ross bought it because he felt it was a reasonable price. And I know you don't buy too many products, Ross. I know. We didn't get to talk about your days in the military. I think next time we're going to have to come on and talk about that. That's very interesting. I love hearing veteran stories. Let's see. US $25. So do you have to pay tax on that? This store, Flight Sim store, is in Australia, so there's no VAT. So I don't think you have to pay tax. There's no tax. Oh, that's great. I hate tax. So yeah, about $25 if you're in Europe. What was the euro again? 23.90. Boy, it looks like the US dollar is starting to gain some momentum. It looks like. It's close. Yeah, I think it's about time to start planning my next trip to Europe. Russ White is always saying, DeAndre, when are you coming down to Southampton? There's a company, Virtual Fly, in Spain, and they're looking for me to come up to Barcelona. So I'm really looking to plan my big trip for next year. I was thinking about Europe this year, but the Flight Sim Con, that's pretty much going to be kind of my vacation time. I'm going to spend the weekend in New York and all that. And even though my wife's from New York and we could stay with family there, I don't want to. I want to stay in a hotel, and I want to be in Manhattan, not Queens. So that's pretty much going to be our vacation. So. But again, can't promote it enough. Come on down to Flight Sim Con. If you live on the East Coast, if you live near the Connecticut area, or anywhere where it's not too far of a drive, do come on down. I will be there, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a terrific time. Let's see. Any other comments? Any questions? Oh, Ross was saying there's no poppy lights, huh? No, I don't think there is. I certainly didn't see any on approach. I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think there is. I really think you really just got to eyeball this thing. Yes. Oh, I know why. I see. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can move him in. Let's see, Valley. Of course, no one will be able to hear me. There's a Valley Deer? Let's see if I can move him. We're going to find out. Okay. Yeah, Valley's been moved over. Let's see if he can chat with us here. Let's see. Take a quick look. I definitely didn't see poppies on approach, which is why I brought the aircraft down so low, because I wanted to maximize as much runway as I possibly could. Get those wheels down quick. But I certainly don't see any poppies here. And it's a good question if the real airport has any poppy lights. In fact, I certainly don't see any here. What is this? Is this a boathouse or something? Actually, I'm curious what this little building is. What is that? Looks like a little shed or something. There's runway hold short lights. And in fact, you know what? Why don't those hold short lights don't look like they're animated? Could that have something to do with my special effects file and prepare it not working properly, maybe? Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, because they were looking kind of static for a minute there. Let me just try to turn around here. Where did they go? There is a poppy here. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me see. I know sometimes when you fool around with the prepared time preview, all lights don't sometimes work. So in order to see that, I'm going to slew now here just for a second. I might have to actually load the scenery in order for it to turn on. But no, yeah, I don't see it coming on there. I probably would have to reload the scenery, but it looks like all the other lights are working okay. Everything else. So it is there, but yeah, I don't see it turning on. So I'm afraid if I reload the scenery now, I'll probably get the outer memory error at this point, only because I'd be pushing my luck with Lake Tahoe and then switching the S550 over to the helicopter. I might be pushing it at that point, but I can see the poppy lights are actually there. I'm just not seeing that they're lit. But we can go ahead and try. I'll go ahead and try to load the scenery, and if we get the OOM, then well, we'll just have to go with that. So let's see what happens. We'll try to load it and see if it comes up. Here we go. Let's see. Well, oh, really? Oh, oh, yeah, mine's are. Yeah, those are actually a little bit big. Yeah, I need to turn those down. I actually haven't played with the configuration tool too much. I actually do need to turn those down. Those are pretty big. Poppy lights aren't. I don't see them, so I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I suppose so. I mean, I've got it. This is a little bit after sunset. I think the sun is already set in our little scenario here. But yeah, I think that's about it. So the poppy structures are there, but I don't see them turning on. Let's see if there's any other questions. All right, sounds good. So for those of you that were able to come on live, really glad you guys could. And hey, Ross, you know, I actually I got FSX installed, so you know, we'll have to do some real-time flying. So the thing with P3D, and I have to research on this. When it comes to P3D, I think I have to do some kind of port forwarding or something on the router. I actually have to host it. The server for P3D is not set up. It's only set up for FSX. So I just decided, bummer, I'll go ahead and just get FSX all set up. So that's where it is now. Well, if you want to stick, huh? Right. Cool. Well, hey, if you want to stick around and do like a 30-minute live flight, if you want to do a test with me, okay, well, we'll do it next time. Well, we're definitely going to do another one again next Monday, and we are shooting for that 1700 Zulu, so I will put a post up. No, I'm going to put a post up on ADX. For anyone who wants to come on and join on that one. So I'll have all the it'll come up on the calendar, and I'll have some posts up. And the last one was kind of the first time around for me, so we hit some trial and error with it. So the next time around should be much easier. But again, Thursdays is working day for me anyway. So once again, everyone, thanks for joining. Again, we were taking a look at San Carlos. This is by Ed Correa. I'm going to highlight his name down in there, and I think he's done a superb job. I don't think I've had any issues performance-wise, but again, some of you might, so definitely play around with the control panel a bit there, and Ross pointed out earlier on that he's made some changes in vector that helps as well. I guess disabling vector might help a little bit with performance and pull up some extra frames out of it. But it seemed to work pretty well for me. Just, eyeball the settings. Not every, sometimes you have to adjust your settings according to the area that you're flying into. But again, I think Ed did a very well done job. I don't know when we will see another product for him. Once again, we're in 2015. His last product was in 2011, so it might be another 4 to 5 years before we see something from Ed again. I hope it's not that long, because he certainly did a great job, and I look forward to seeing more from him again in the future. So be sure to pick up your copy of Orbx San Carlos at fullterrain.com. Want to thank Ross for coming on board, and it's good to chat with you finally. We chat a lot on Facebook and email and stuff. You tip me off to news, but it was really great to chat with you, so I hope we can do this more often too. And you're really helpful with the questions as well. Thank you so much. And I'll have to figure out why your voice isn't going through. Yeah, I'll play with that tonight and try to figure out what happened there. But I actually streamed a little bit of the live flight that we did on Monday, and it's in the Twitch. I haven't released the video for anyone to watch, but I did go back and listen to it, and I could hear everybody. Everybody was talking and chatting and doing their call signs and everything, and everyone could be heard in the stream. So maybe you can't hear it live, but maybe in the Twitch post processing it comes up. I have no idea, but definitely the OBS. Every time you speak, your voice level pops up. So if you say something right now, there we go, and I could see your little voice there. Well, let's see. Audio, speakers, microphone. I don't know. I don't think in here though if it can be, but I'll definitely play around with it. Say something one more time. I want to see if something comes up here in the threshold. Well, that might be an option in the future. I mean, I may have to just go ahead and pay for it again, especially if we're going to do these, because the whole point of also getting TeamSpeak up and running is so that you guys can come and join the chat. So if OBS isn't going to work, then that kind of defeats the purpose, and I'm going to have to go ahead and make the change anyway. So I'll play around with it, see if I can find out what's going on. It's weird because it sounds like I'm just talking to myself. People probably think I'm crazy. There is no Ross. Go on, DeAndre, admit it. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. So I'll have to go in and definitely take a look at that and see what's going on, because that's part of the fun. So, Ross, really appreciate it. Great chatting with you, and I hope we can do it again soon. There's a couple of more products that's on my immediate list that I need to stream that I'm going to try to do before the end of the week. Might be some really late night stuff again. We'll see. I'll try to post something up ahead of time for those who want to come in and watch live. But again, to everyone watching, thank you so much for coming aboard. Hopefully this was informative, and definitely support Ed and his venture with the product with San Carlos. And the developers can definitely use your support always. And thank you for being a part of this. And if you've watched it on YouTube, which it will be available shortly, hope you found it informative as well. Once again, for all of your daily simulation news, airdailyx.net. I'm DeAndre, and that's Ross right over there. Somewhere over there. Ross is waving. And all of you guys have a enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, it's Tuesday, so enjoy the rest of your evening. And oh, what's going on here? Oh, I got to close that window and then push that. Yes, and Aerostar is saying, remember to look into the ISG mod. Definitely will do. Thank you so much for that. I will take a look at that link as soon as I end the broadcast, which is going to happen right now. Good night, everyone.